Find out in a second. I suppose we do. I suppose we're connected. Let me just double check here, everybody. But if we are live, which I think we're live, welcome to We Are Aquarius, where we are Aquarius. Not you. Well, I mean, it could be, but you know that's a topic for another day. I mean, it could be a topic for today. I can be sometimes called that, but I'm a good guy
to be an Aquarius.
You gotta subscribe to be an Aquarius. That's how it works. There's no other way.
No, unless you subscribe. If you don't subscribe, you really don't understand.
Yeah, we have a lot of interesting topics here. We do jump into a lot of different phases.
He's trying to basically hint that we don't even have a topic.
We do have a topic tonight. What's the right path? That's what I was trying to say. But Brad likes to throw a monkey wrench in my gears half the time, which I have to come out and be like, no, don't do that, bro. But he's like, I'm going to do it anyways. Well, look at it go. And then ding, 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 ding. You know, just, it's like, oh, I'm grinding my gears because you have to say stuff like that, man. You know, it's like, why do you have to say stuff like that? Don't say those things. They don't want to hear that. I mean, maybe they do, but maybe they don't. I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. But
people like controversy.
I think that's what we got to do. We just have to constantly have controversy against each other. I'll just argue you the whole night about why you're wrong and stupid. And
devil's advocate.
You know, and then you can argue why I'm right and smart.
That's like all right. I got into a situation at work because here's the reality of it. I'm ignorant, and I think everybody I talk to or know at anyone of a more of a talking to or knowing level is also ignorant. However, honestly, I think half the people I watch for the news are ignorant. I don't want to say everyone in the world is like ignorant, but I think we're all just kind of ignorant. I know that seems like a repetitive word at this point, but all right. So we're talking about like the train incident in Ohio, and I was just like, you know, kind of the government. Like, I don't understand why we have to pay taxes towards these things when the government just like backs down to these big entities in the first place. And he's like, well, they're so, you know, he kind of got upset with me saying that. He's like, it has nothing to do with the government. I don't really understand him, but it's like basically saying like they're so powerful, and you know, and I guess I can understand it, you know, that's capitalism. Like we want it, you know, if they make some, and I mean, you heard it, Buttigieg, the gay one. You can say that because it's accurate.
Well,
you can fact check me.
I almost think the name is a joke. Booty Judge. I mean, maybe it's
Booty
real,
Judge.
but it's Booty Judge. But yeah, it's German name, so it sounds like Buttigieg.
That's
I think it should be
right. Budapest.
Buttigieg. Maybe that should be the way it is, since it's a German name. I think, or
I don't know.
It could be Scandinavian. Who knows?
He gets that pass being super duper white, but he gets a pass because he's gay. It's amazing.
That's a problem.
Either way,
that's a problem. That
he admitted that we have thousands. I think he did. Did he say 1,000 or did he say thousands?
I don't know.
Plural? But that's a whole different. That's anywhere between three train derailments a year to 3 to 6 train derailments a year.
Yeah,
that's thousands. It could be anywhere between 3 to 27,000.
Is he in charge of transportation? Because if that's the case, I don't know.
I mean, at least some people said it like, you know how this sounds worse. Like, you're not making it sound better. But like, yeah. And
you know, this year it wasn't only. I mean, it was only 10,000. The other year it was 11,000. So we brought it down a little bit.
We already know that administration wasn't going to do anything about anything that happens anywhere. And you know, I mean, 3 train derailments a day in our country. You know, and now I watched something where they were talking about. You listen to this. I watched something where they were
It
talking about how the United States, don't interrupt me, well, the United States were practicing sending balloons that were nuclear bombs. They were just weather balloon nuclear bombs. And they looked like identical to these damn Chinese ones. Jeez. I shouldn't be laughing because, damn it. But like, I mean, we have report that, and I don't know, but we have report that United States knew when that weather balloon left China, traveled across Canada into like, what was it, Montana or something like that? Like we knew the entire route of it. And yet, like, at no point in time we were like, let's do something. Maybe we were reverse hacking it. Maybe we actually hacked it so hard that we sent them false data. I'm not sure.
I think it was just some
But
idiot in Alaska that shot up a balloon and they flew. But you know what? Maybe it could be real because when I was doing a stream beforehand with some gaming material, there was one night. There was one night that I heard. I think it was an F-22 fly overhead, and I was thinking in the chat like, "Did you guys hear that?" Which of course I probably couldn't because I had my windows closed, but I could hear it from here in my headset while I had my headset on. And, I could tell if something's a rocket or if something's a commercial airplane. I live pretty close by an airport. I know what the commercial airplanes and the small private airplanes are, but when you hear, go by like that, it's like this is a fuel jet that's a fighter pilot jet going by. And it was like a week before the whole balloon thing ballooned out of proportion.
It doesn't care about the amount of fuel that it needs to use.
So I guess
to operate.
I guess either somebody's shooting up a whole bunch of balloons in Alaska, or China is trying to probe us in some ways. And you know what the fact is? It might sound ridiculous, but China already did that before. The whole Pokemon game where you had to go out into neighbor's yard, into confiscated areas you couldn't get into and take a picture of like behind the scene facilities. All these pictures that they took for that went back over to Asia, whether to Japan or China, whoever. But they took all these random pictures that maybe you couldn't get on Google Maps. Maybe because they can't get that. They got all these pictures. Everybody was just playing a game. And they worked for the other outside country intelligence.
It's all of it. I mean, it's all of it. Collecting data, watching every person's. Obviously
America does with their phones.
Specifically.
Your phones with
America. They don't care about you specifically. Look, if they're going to care about you specifically, it's because they specifically know you prior, and they're going to watch. They're going to log into what data they have of you.
Yeah, you say specific keywords. You're like, oh, everything's gonna, blah, and then
nobody's gonna notice you. Nobody notices you.
Let's watch what he's going to say. And you know what? Here's the fact: is like, what about all those kids that went on the shooting sprees, and the FBI already knew their proclivities based upon what they were saying beforehand, and didn't do much, like the whole peaceful protests where Kyle Rittenhouse was at, where the FBI was already seeing it all take place before any of that happened and did nothing about it. They know this stuff is going to happen, but yet they just kind of let it unfold. They could step in and do something, but sometimes they don't.
Isn't that kind of the American way? Isn't that like freedom?
Yeah, but I mean,
we don't need a born identity FBI, do we?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If they're going to go and try to prosecute the guy that defended himself from a mob,
look, I think
using the video footage that they took when they already knew who the aggressors were, and then try to throw it back on the other guy. I mean, it's like they're kind of working against the system in a sense.
I don't think
if they do something like that.
The FBI is corrupt, but I think that the thing is, when you get people to be able to be like, look, I can better make things better for you if you do this for me. Mm-hmm. And you make these symbiotic relationships. Enough of them happen, you start to make a network. Enough networking happens, you start to make an empire. It's inevitable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What started as like he said, she said kind of whisper down the alley, we made an extra $30,000 to it just becomes a criminal criminal enterprise. You didn't mean for it to happen,
Yeah.
but like,
Mhm.
and down the line when you start to be like, well, who's at the top of this dang thing? Like,
Mhm.
I guess whoever's the president at the time, and it's like you realize like he can't really do what he's doing. He probably is like the leader of it. I mean, the guy's
But the
got enough
other,
dirt on him. He
yeah,
probably knows a lot of the shit going on in
yeah.
the
But
whole government of things. Joe's your guy if you need to know something. I get it.
I guess the fact
Pelosi's
is like
gone.
for us to like constantly blame the president all the time, even though sometimes they do some massive stuff, it comes down to more things than that. It's the House, it's the Senate,
That's because he's a
it's
bitch.
the
He's a bitch, though.
judiciary system. It's a lot of stuff. And the fact is, a lot of it also comes down to us. If we decide
But
to
Biden,
not do something that's not right, they have to change their hand. They have to let go. Look at all the people that fought back and said, this jab is doing these extra things to people. People are dying suddenly, because of this jab. As soon as they really pushed back, the government was like, oh yeah, the pandemic's done. We don't have to worry about it, but you got to wear a mask sometimes, or, please try to do. As soon
like,
as
no,
we, as
no, we're
soon as
not.
it's,
You don't understand. We're not cool with your like mandate bullshit. And everyone's like, yeah, all right, all right.
yeah,
They're optional.
yeah, that's exactly
They're
right.
optional guys.
Because when it comes down to people that are going to do bad things to you, they'll tell you you have to do it until you all decide to fight back and be like, no, we're not going to do it. And they'll be like, well, this would be the better thing. Then they give up. They'll just flat out give up if you just decide to say no. And what we've had for
Yeah, but
complacency and what we had growing up for the longest time is when the troll trolls you, you ignore it. So we do the same thing in life. If someone is being, kind of not great to you, asinine in a sense, you just ignore it. So what we've done is we've hypnotized ourselves in just ignoring the problem, not doing anything about it, not resisting, in a peaceful way, peaceful resisting, peacefully saying, I'm not complying to things. We just decided to go ahead and be like, just ignore the trolls,
yeah,
just
but
ignore the bad things.
I'm just
No,
saying,
that's not how
pandemic.
you're supposed to live. You're not supposed to just live your life ignoring everything because you think someone else is going to solve the problem when it's a whole group thing that includes you. No, it's going to take every last bit of every last person to
Maybe
say
we should stop worrying
no.
about it. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe
And
that's the reality of it.
yeah, you're right. Stop worrying about it. Stop just complying with everything and going along to get along. You are
Yeah,
your
but
own sovereign person.
look, but what if that's what it is? What if God?
Yeah, what if this is
What
what
if
God
God?
wanted? God wanted us
What
to
if
be able
God
to stand
wants
up
to
and
wipe? But what if God wants to wipe out a lot of the civilization? And it's like no
uh
matter what we keep doing, we keep fighting back, and it's like
I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. I think that's what a lot of people might want you to believe. And a lot of people like go into these. You know how there's all these end of the world people that come out and are like, the world's gonna end. Go crazy, do whatever you want. And like I was saying before, like we could choose which way we want to go. Some of these people that end up going full nuts, and they're like, everything's gonna be horrible. Everything's gonna be like this, and everybody goes on and pats them, and it's like, yes, yes, good job. You predicted the end of the world. No, that's what you were wishing for. And now everybody wants to agree with you. And now that they agree with you, as soon as anything bad happens, they're all going to go nuts and you're going to be like, I predicted this, but oh my gosh, it's so horrible. Why did this happen? You led them to it. You led them to the trough and now they're going to drink. We do it to ourselves half the time. You might say God did it, but a lot of the time there's just a lot of stupid people, which I wanted to talk about. Like if Jesus was on a cross today, he'd be like, these guys are all a bunch of freaking idiots. Instead of just saying they just don't know any better, we would say that ourselves. There's just a lot of people that just don't have the knowledge, they don't have the understanding to know that we could just be there for each other. I
you
mean,
really think you do? You really think we do? I don't know. I'm just saying. The Bible even says that our smartest idea doesn't compare to God's like dumbest idea. Like I just think that in the end, we're just stupid creatures. We're just
but
stupid.
that's what made me realize
Trying
lately, like with our
trying to get
reality.
a taste of what heaven could be like, and the only way to it is worshiping God. I mean, I'm not trying to be cynical, but
Well, sure, but it's more than just that. Like I was thinking about stuff even with my, my deceased father and all that, and it just there were things I was thinking in my head, and it just came to me. It's like this is the heaven right now. You could think of it as hell. A lot of people want to think of this as hell, but this could be heaven. And as long as you keep that positive mind and keep trying to push forward, yeah, there's going to be kickback. There's going to be people that are mean to you sometimes, do bad things. But as long as you keep pushing forward, keep trucking forward, and push that to the side and ignore that, like what you're saying, like just ignore the negative, the net negatives, and you keep living your life more positive. People will follow in that footstep and will move forward in a better light. You know how they had the advertising for, I don't know, it was like 10, 20 years ago,
I don't.
like pass it on, pass it forward. And then some people started doing that, and then it just got erased out of the memory hole. That kind of thing could make our reality so much better. But everybody wants to be like, well, this person did this bad thing and that person did that bad thing. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
But
But that's what I'm saying.
they're following the bad thing because the other bad thing happened.
Our way of reality, or our way of living, is not necessarily a positive thing, and we're just teaching our children a negative way of life.
Yeah, we're teaching them the negative
And
all the time. Oh, hey, Jack, and everybody else that's tuning in here. But I get it, man. But the thing is, like,
I don't know. I've
I
just been
also
bad.
I've also
It's
felt
borderline
sick.
depression this week, but I've just been battling really like, excuse me, negative thoughts this whole week. Just I don't know. I don't see anything anymore. What is anybody doing? What is the point of it? What I mean, just and look, if you don't brush your teeth, what happens? Your mouth will eventually start hurting. Won't feel good. You have to keep it clean.
Hmm.
If you don't like rinse your armpits and all that, eventually it'll start to blister. It's just like life is just constant work in every. If you don't put away your dishes, they just stack up dirty everywhere. You know what I mean? Like if you don't do this, if you don't maintain life, it just withers itself away. And that's with
Hmm.
everything. And you can't live in a moment. You can pretend like you can listen to a few waves and all that, but like,
Yeah, some people say you
you
can
know,
just live in a moment, Ned. I get what you're saying, and I'm on board with that to a
that
pretty good
moment
degree.
eventually, and I'm
But
just saying,
the moments
in
but the
another
moments
500 years,
pass.
that same moment will be underwater
Yeah, that
because of global warming. Whether we can call it global warming or whatever. You can pretend like it's fake, and it's not global warming. It's cycles of the planet. And unfortunately, we're coming into another flip of the rotation of our magnetic field. I think those pyramids, I know it sounds silly, but I think those pyramids were working. God made that flood this last 11,000 years ago, and there was like some kind of bubble that was making the pyramids working because there's a lot more water in the air, which is what caused all these giants and all that kind of stuff. But everything was more soft. Everything was softer. That's why we don't have
Mhm.
we're missing like a lot of fragments of not just some bones, but like other bones and stuff like that. Like other human,
But yeah,
not just
like
human, but like other
over time the bones
other animals.
even fall apart. They just turn into calcium and then they break apart. So,
Well, I think with that's what I mean with all these mudslides that happened in this last catastrophe and all that.
mm.
Something happened where this, we got smaller. We also don't live as long,
But yeah, I think
and
what happened is we got bigger because look at every kid now. Every kid that's younger than me is taller than me. I'm a pretty tall guy. But I'm seeing all these people around me. They're just almost getting up to the 6.5, getting close to 7 feet. It's like, how are kids now getting so much taller with every generation? Where I'm almost 6 foot myself, which is considered pretty tall in a lot of standards. But why are they all getting taller and taller and taller? Maybe the change in atmosphere is going to make them eventually into giants. But then later on in time, where the giants were bad because they did bad things because they were the minority at the point when the world changed and the people started getting smaller. Some people didn't, based upon where they lived, maybe based upon the earth. Who knows? And then the giants are bad. They were attacked, and so the giants decided they were going to just be their own race and not be a human. And whether they started eating people, people say they did. I don't know, but there's a lot of things that happen, and I guess the point is like we're talking about ignorance, and it's true. Even Jesus said on the cross, it's like, why would you kill him? A lot of people say he died for our sins, but I think honestly, they just murdered him. And okay, you could say he died for your sins because in a sense it does kind of make sense, but ultimately everybody focuses on his death so much in a weird death-like cult way that they don't even care about his message. His whole message just spanned 500 pages in a Bible? 200, 500 pages, whatever it is, maybe 1,000 pages. I don't know how many pages it is. It's a lot.
Definitely not 1,000.
But people skip over the whole thing just to say he died for me and that's all I got to do. And even Paul later on went out and kind of said like, all we got to do is just have faith. No, Jesus didn't say anything about just having faith. You had to also do things. If we were just here to just have faith, all we'd have to do, like some religious things do, is just say, I believe in Jesus and I'm saved. That's not enough. Because even Jesus said, in the end, people will say, Lord, Lord, didn't I do these things in your name? I don't know who you are. Because they did them in his name, but for themselves, not for the people, not for the glory of God. They did it for themselves. Like you were just talking about Mr. Beast, and he doesn't believe in any kind of creator because he's not doing it for a creator. He's doing it for himself. It's all selfish propaganda for himself so that he can promote himself. So if he gives away money,
he's done more good, but he's done more good things than me.
But he did them for purely selfish reasons. So he's not really doing good things. There's people that get, donate to hospitals and they get their name on a plaque.
That's bullshit, though. That's bullshit. I'm supposed to look at all those people that have been helped as in like, well, you were helped sacrilegiously, so you don't deserve it.
No, they get the reward. It's not bullshit, it's true. Because Jesus even said, like, if you tell everybody about all your accomplishments here, you got your reward on heaven or on earth. But you don't necessarily get it in heaven. So if you do your things for other people and don't go bragging about it, and don't go like, look at me doing all this stuff, then you actually get the reward in heaven.
I'm just saying, like,
because you decided not to be the braggart.
But there's like that same woman who lives in.
But that's the sin of pride. That's a sin of pride right there.
It's probably Colombia, where she cooks all that food for everybody. She usually typically shows somebody wasting food for like 5 seconds, and then she'll remake the food and give it to all those kids and Venezuela. It might be Venezuela, but and it's just like,
yeah, you're doing good things, but you're doing good
things, and you're making. But that money that you're making from it is what causes you to be able to do it again, which is what's good for everybody, and it's like it multiplies. So it's like
the problem is it comes down to like the
wrong?
Little. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's not the best decision. Because it's like you can teach a man to fish or you can give him a fish. Now they've become reliant upon you.
Then you're arguing there's differences of sin. That's what I'm saying. There's wages of sin. And that's what I don't know. I'm not trying to I wish I had an answer, and I'm not trying to I'm not saying
religion. I'm not saying it's not a bad, like, you can go around and do some good things for other people and then talk about it and be happy about that. But I think you should have something that, whether it's a personal family that you have that you're taking care of, sometimes it's just as simple as that. You just
I'm saying
sometimes it's something simple as like
if
you got your
everybody
own family you're
donated
taking
me
care of,
as much money as they
and you
could,
don't go brag
as
about
much
that,
money
but
as
you
they all
did
could,
what you
everybody
can.
donated me as much money as they all could, I would get a team together to figure out all the different problems. It probably would include Mr. Beast, but I'd figure out a team together. You guys just keep funding me money, and I will make sure we'll create a program right away that like voter.com, whatever you want to do it, where you vote for what you want. If somebody puts up an idea like fix the healthcare system, and it's like, all right, that's like upvoted fucking 15 trillion times. It's like, all right, so we can get into a little more subs into it, because I don't want to make a committee of 15 people to fix it. I think that there's much more intelligent people than me and whatever team I could possibly put together. And I think that's what I'm saying. But it's going to involve telling a bunch of rich people, no, we're not doing it that way anymore. We need transparent pricing, all these different kinds of things, even if it would. But that's what I'm saying. Then you start getting into like one world government, stuff like that, because which is
Yeah.
right towards the end of the world.
But like with what you're saying there, it could seem like that could be a really good option because that's what certain societies or certain cults want to do is they want to get glorified for being the man god. I am the one that provides for you because I do this. But it comes down to that whole notion of teaching a man to fish or giving him a fish. Now they come to rely upon you. You've become their god. Once you die, what are they going to do? They've spent their life deciding to be a parasite on you. You've let them become a parasite. And you think that that's fine because I have the opportunity to do it. But you didn't really give them the opportunity to live on their own. You didn't give them the opportunity to have their own freedom. You gave them the opportunity to be a slave to you. Now they're enslaved to coming back to you because you have all the resources and they don't. Without telling them how to do it, without moving on. That's why Jesus, when he talked to the rich guy, is because the rich guy just did it for clout. He did it for other people's purposes. The rich guy that Jesus talked about with the camel in the eye of the needle, that was Mr. Beast of our modern day.
But what if
that is Mr. Beast?
What if you bought an area and you put everything to vote, or like no one, like what I mean? But
that's I'm just saying, if you're giving people the freedom,
20 open areas and everything is just done by voting anymore. Like, well, we want a Cinnabon, and it's like, what if it's like you're working for 10 years and it's like suddenly the community puts it up for vote that they no longer like your bagels that you've been making for 17 years. They vote you out, and you're suddenly voted out. Like you probably just go have to find a job somewhere else with somebody, and you can do that. It's probably not hard, but it's just like everything's just done by vote. Like let's just say like there's this company that produces something, and it's a big factory, and it's making okay money, and it's, no this and that, and everything's good, but like all of a sudden every morning it like causes all these traffic problems for like a lot of people, and they like we vote them that they either fix this or like they go, and like people support it. They're like, it doesn't affect me, but like I get it how it affects you. We support that. And all of a sudden it's like now it's like the company's like, all right, we have to fix it, or else or we're just gonna get the boot. Like you own nothing. It's all done by vote. Fairness of vote.
So sometimes weird things happen in weird ways, and honestly, if you just picked up and moved because you were getting such kickback, and then something else started there that was like another company like that, but it was worse, they'll end up going to where you are anyways because your traffic pulled them back there, and then they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry we kicked you out, but we really kind of miss you now, And you know that kind of stuff
What if
happens a lot because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
we kind of done effed up here, and we got this
Yeah,
other
it's like
horrible
it's like
Starbucks coffee here instead of this gourmet, bakery restaurant that we
Starbucks is
loved,
decent.
but it was
People hate
traffic.
Starbucks.
I'm just saying, like, it could be something like that. Like now the person, because of the experience, because he got an experience, like you were saying earlier this time, this is an experience. You're right. This is an experience. Sometimes we get bad things from not very smart people. And I'm not saying we're all really smart. We all do stupid stuff. We have a propensity for not understanding somebody else's situation and then saying something stupid or doing something stupid or encouraging some stupid, behavior because of it. We all have that propensity. This is what, I think even one of the apostles said too, like there is no perfect person out there. I think it was Paul. In the New Testament. Corinthians or Roman, I forgot where it was, but he said it, and that's kind of the truth of it. Like we have to experience some things, and I think the fact is, like Jesus said, let the children come to me. He was talking about us. We're the children. We have to just start acting like we were as a children. If someone doesn't like what you're doing, you're like, oh, okay, I'll go and play over here and do this thing. Just not even care. Just move on. Just move on with your life. You don't want me here? Fine. I'm over here. You know where I'm at. Come and get me if you want me over here. And later on, it'll probably happen like that. They'll put something stupid in there that they were like, oh, this causes traffic. Oh. And then they put something stupid in there like, I don't like that. Let's go over there. Oh, there's traffic over here. Yeah, it's because you're coming here. And you just put up a note like, because everybody wants to come here in traffic, we ask you park in this extra lot over here. And then you just buy an extra lot. You learn a lesson through the stupidity. I think, honestly, this is what we're doing with life. We're learning all these lessons through the stupidity of humanity to try to get, step upon that and get better all the time.
Humanity's going two different directions, though.
Some of them are, I would say. I'm not saying...
Looking at each other like they're stupid.
I think,
each other's stupid.
Honestly, there's a lot of times I want to call people out on being stupid. So many times in the day, I want to say it. But then I have to come back and realize, okay, maybe I don't know what's going on with this person. Maybe they're an emergency. Maybe they're,
their experiences, they can look very well like you're stupid. It's weird. It's weird to actually admit, but it's like the same variable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It happens in math.
Yeah,
two different math ways can happen where the same, but they've come in different angles to get to this same.
Yeah, because you can do math in reverse and still get the same equation. But
that's what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
these different routes and come up with these different conclusions. Like it's a different answer, basically, and it's they're not wrong. Like they're not wrong, and that's
they're trying to see. I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to admit it because you want to be like, well, they're wrong. They're wrong. I'm right, but it's an ignorant way of thinking. They're not wrong. In fact, in reality, we're all wrong. We're all wrong.
The problem comes down to, I think, when we're talking about stuff like this. Like I've even had somebody say, "Oh, why don't you do it this way?" Or "Why don't you do it that way? I'm getting annoyed with you doing it this way." It's like, that's the only way I can do it. And for me to explain my thought process on doing it, it's like, this is the only way I can do it. And for me to change how I do things to suit every little person's desires is insane.
You have to see it that the future, that I'm talking like 15 years from now, a lot of these YouTubers who have nothing are going to become what's popular for running for office and stuff like that. What else do they have? They're easily bought and all that kind of stuff. It's why don't you run for politician? It's like you're popular.
But the thing is, it comes down to like I shouldn't say it comes down to, but it turns into who perseveres. and there's going to be people that literally put a stumbling block in front of themselves, trip over it and fall and go like, see, it was that black stone that I stumbled over. You put it there yourself, buddy. You know, and we do that.
I could tell a story about my wife just like that, but I don't know if I should. Look, I took my work clothes off.
This will be on the history forever. So
I took my work clothes off, but I left my wallet in my pants. So I threw it in the laundry hamper, but she washed it and then yelled at me because my wallet was in the pants. And whose fault is it?
You forgot.
So you want to argue it's my fault because I left it in the pants?
It's your fault, but it's not. It's your fault, but you shouldn't be yelled at for it. Because I've done stuff like that myself, and I've thrown things in a wash myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I had all this, you know.
There's more to the story. I specifically said at night that when I came home, I wanted to be able to throw my clothes into the laundry with all the other clothes and do a load of laundry at the end of the night. I said that way when we wake up in the morning, we can just fold them and be done with it. I said, when I came home, there was no laundry. It was already all done. Now, my wife said it's because the sheets were really dirty. You know, some accidents happened in the sheets. So they were dirty. They needed to get cleaned. And that couldn't wait. In which case, there was enough room for everything else that needed to be washed. Changing the whole plan. So when I came home and I saw no laundry, I was just like, ugh. I took my clothes off and I just threw them in the hamper. I went to go make myself a drink. So I would have cared, but because my plan got ruined, I didn't care. So now, is it still just as much my fault?
It's kind of both your faults.
No matter what, I agree with you. It's my fault because I left the wallet in the
technically yes, pocket. And also technically yes. Yeah, it's.
But I always say like, why? Who told her to wash my clothes? I didn't tell her to wash my clothes.
You had the idea of washing the clothes, and then she decided to logistically work it with all the other clothes.
Wash the clothes at night. I said to wash the clothes at night. I wake up in the morning, woken up to, oh, I washed your clothes, and your wallet was in it.
Yeah, but remember we were talking earlier, and you were like,
but I even said I wanted to wash my clothes last night, and you didn't have any other clothes for me to wash, and whose fault is it?
You remember
we were really my fault? It's not my fault at all. That's the bottom line. I never told her to wash my clothes. I wasn't even gonna wash them.
Oh man, here's the thing, and this is a hard thing to swallow. This could be a hard thing to swallow, but this is kind of true. When you're in a relationship, and you even told me this too, and we've already talked about this. It's true. You
even told me this.
We've talked about this on and off air, with other things too. But head of the household, heart of the household, you're connected. You're connected with all the things. You're not physically tied, but what they say, you're kind of spiritually tied.
You want to know?
So if you lead an idea, you're like, you know what, that grass really needs to get cut, but I just don't have the time for it. And she goes out, cut the grass, and then clips her toe with it, and Ben like, that was your fault for doing it. It's like, well, I did say we have to cut the grass, but I didn't tell you to go out and cut the grass. Then it's like, you're kind of tied together with the situation. It doesn't necessarily mean it's your fault.
I figure out the solution.
But whose fault can it be, right? Because with a lot of...
It's not my fault. That's the bottom line. It's not my fault.
I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter.
When it comes down to people, like, nobody wants to take blame for anything. Everybody else wants to point the finger and never takes the blame for anything. You're a great example.
I said, I said, you know what the problem is though? I said we're all selfish, and we even instill selfishness in our own child. Our child is becoming selfish. She's a good kid, and my son, he's only 2.
Yeah.
I won't say
I
he's a
will
good
agree with that. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but the fact is, nobody's perfect. We all get a little greedy.
But
We
the
all get
bottom
a
line,
little this and a little that
I said,
sometimes.
I said you don't need any kind of like couples counseling or anything, and not that me and my wife are really fighting, but I said, but um, we have to put each other first. I said that's the only real way to fix it. I said I have to put you first. When I do things, I can't put myself first. I have to put you first. So it's like if I don't want to make breakfast, but you want a breakfast, I should just put you first and make the breakfast. And vice versa. If you actually did the same for me, put me first.
Yep.
Been like, I know you don't like making dishes. I'll make the dishes. I came home, my wife had a drink for me. I'm buzzed. I had a great time. This is my 3rd mojito. I started with
You started without me? How dare you?
Yeah.
Now I'm jealous. See?
I doubt I started without you. I'm pretty sure you started without me.
No, this is my first one here.
Yeah, I had mojitos, grapefruit.
Should have told her to make one for me too.
Fresh squeezed grapefruit mojitos with lime and agave. And then my wife, for some reason, decided to put some of the dark rum into it, which is a bit different. Dark rum in the mojitos,
I haven't had that.
along with club soda, dark rum and grapefruit and lime, and club soda.
I couldn't have the
mint.
grapefruit, but I could have the lime. Maybe an orange instead of grapefruit.
And the white rum is made with coconuts. It's not coconut infused. It's made with coconut water. Like the extra water is coconut water.
Oh, nice. Does every fruit ferment into alcohol? I'm guessing it does.
Yeah.
I never really asked that question before. I never really knew. I
Yeah.
just
most
thought only
berries
some
become wine.
can. I didn't know like coconuts,
Berries
like
become wines. And every vegetable does too.
vegetables too. I didn't know that.
You ain't ever had a shot of broccoli?
I highly doubt that. I think only the fruits can because you know what?
I will look.
I was thinking about this, dude. If the cancer's eating the sugars, it's because it was supposed to be eaten by the yeast that typically eats the sugars of a fruit when it's decaying. Like how yeast in beer works, right? So then everything starts as a sugar with a fruit, and it ends up as a yeast or as a bacteria that eats itself up. So when you have beer, does it eat the extra sugar that you put in your body? Is that why?
Maybe.
I asked this with my mom. She was absolutely like, no, that doesn't work. The beer makes a sugar for you to consume. It's like, no, the yeast eats the sugars and leaves, whatever.
I made this argument. I told this person I exercise my lungs by smoking a cigarette a day. I break them down a little bit and then I let them build themselves back up strong. This one girl back in school, she got so mad at me about it. She's like, "That's not how it fucking works." And this and that. I was like, "It's like everyone's like, it's just a joke." Like, I was like, I just break them down every day, and build them back up.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, dude. The thing is, it comes down to like. There's a lot of times in life that you get, and I'm starting to realize this now. Sometimes in life, you just need to get with friends or people you like to talk with, or even family members and stuff, and just kind of unload, kind of, get back to who you are. Because honestly, I think Jesus might have been. I know he was talking about the children when he said, "Let the children come to me," but I think he was probably referencing us because the fact is we only go as soon as we hit 21, we're done growing. So, although we're a lot older now,
this is frustrating.
What if we're just meant to be teenagers here and get that experience, and that's all we really can get at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm,
we're
I'm,
we're supposed to
I'm seeing like
be youthful in our approach to life. You
I'm
know.
seeing like every single person being like, broccoli wine sounds, interesting. Go ahead, try it. And like nobody's giving any like I've already done it.
Wait, you actually looked that up?
Yeah, I
That
mean the
can't be
person's
real. That can't be real. I think only fruits can do that.
no way, man. Anything can really become a wine.
Well, I know cider, but I mean that's apple juice. I don't know, man. I've never heard of that before. I don't know if I can put my stamp on that. I have to look that up.
All right. So let me read for this person. This is on February 11th, 2020, from Michael L. Collins. I
Pop it
would
in the chat. Let me see that.
I would think that you would have to fight against broccoli's natural bitterness, and it might make a better beer than wine. Most fruits and veggies used to make wine either have some sugar or starches that easily convert, but I don't think that broccoli has a lot of either. You would end up making a basic wash and flavoring with broccoli. With that, you would end up having to fight against broccoli's natural bitterness. As a newbie to all this, I could be just talking about backside. I don't know, but then why not make broccoli liquor? Anything with the starch, you can liquor it out. You can
Oh, you're
distill
right.
it.
Potatoes. Yeah.
I
And rice
mean,
too. Yeah. Yeah. I hardly ever. Well, I mean, I do have rum sometimes. I just
well, that's what I said.
kind of forget.
That's what I put. I just put. Can you turn broccoli into a liquor, basically? And I mean, I'm listening to all these people. I tried one from squash. I screwed it up, but good. Cooked it for about 20 minutes. Put it in a fresh mesh bag. Put the juice and vegetables in your bucket. Gave 7 to 10 days. Put the vegetables. Back in 4 days, just in case it's strong. It's needs age. I would guess at least 6 months. Might need up to 2 years. So he hasn't finished it. So it's
Hmm.
if broccoli wine had the same effect on me that steamed broccoli does, I'd be
Yeah.
a drunken walking fire hazard. What does that even mean?
That's just to be funny, you
I
know.
think that prune wine mentioned earlier would be a messy mistake, an alcoholic laxative.
Hmm.
I don't know when someone mentioned prune wine, but you might be surprised the vegetables and fruit is pesca. But what? Okay, but nobody's saying they did it. And at the end of this whole thread, nobody actually said anything that they did it. Homebrew talk. Thanks. Thanks for solving my problem.
By
Although
not
you had
solving
great.
it.
Can you make alcohol from broccoli? Yes. Any plant that is edible can be fermented into alcohol, wines, and liquor.
So then, why do they tell you
I would.
not to? Why do they tell you not to have alcohol, but they tell you to eat fermented foods as that's good for you?
Yeah.
I gotta wonder
I
about
was
that.
challenged to make a broccoli cocktail. Okay, but that's not the point.
I was challenged to do so. I never did it. Essentially, just keep reading. I thought about. I never did it. Hey, that's how I read stuff now. It's like, yep, nope, yep, nope, yep, nope, yep, nope, nothing, 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 nothing. Whole bunch of nothing. Whole bunch
Okay,
of wasted time.
maybe I won't say liquor. Maybe I'll say alcohol. Because you think broccoli is that broccoli wine, but it's the same thing as that.
Hmm.
I know it can. I think
Oh
it'd be
man.
delicious. I think it would taste like urine,
Oh
like
God.
straight urine. It'd probably even have the
Uh,
same color with that fermented green and
no,
tinted yellow.
it'd be like a pea green. Look
Yeah,
disgusting.
like a super duper dark pea green.
You know, and you're
And
like,
but when
what
you
is
add
this? It's good for you. Just drink it, and
just
then drink
drink
it.
it.
You're just like, ugh. It's like I'm
Oh.
drinking a pine tree. What the hell is this? It's broccoli. It's good for you, but it's alcohol too, so it's also good for
Broccoli aged in oak barrels.
you. Oh man. You know, that's the thing too. People say alcohol's bad for you.
That's
Then if alcohol's so bad for you, why did Jesus drink wine on different occasions? Why did he drink wine at the Last Supper? And why did he drink wine at the wedding?
Who's saying alcohol is bad for you?
Like everybody else out there in the world. Alcohol is apparently toxic, but smoking is okay. I don't get that. Like, the thing that shouldn't go in your lungs is
But
approved.
can we make like a vegetable medley of like beer? Like, can you imagine that? They're like, oh, we used some
That would be cool.
tomatoes and
Celery,
and some squash.
broccoli,
It's
a
it's
little
like
bit
it's
of
forget pumpkin beer. I want like a full fall medley of like acorn squash and
That would be funny.
all of it, all of it. I want all of it. Some eggplant, all of it for fall, shoved into one beer.
Shoved in my gullet. Put
Don't
it
care
down.
if it costs
Put it
$45 a bottle because you had to resource so many different things
put it down the
to
hole.
put in there.
Yeah.
Anything better than that Mad Elf this year, which no one else knows because I guess that's only kind of a local thing. But man, that beer was so tart this year. I get the same beer every year, and they have this like Grand Edition, the Grand True, I think they even call it or something like that.
Hmm.
And it's a cherry beer, cherry.
Hmm.
And this year, last year was nice and sweet, man. I loved it. It's an ale,
Yeah.
It's not a quad, I don't think, but it's an ale.
Mhm.
It's delicious. And this year was like so sour. I mean, I'm just thinking like, where did you resource your cherries from, man? Like you guys,
No, they're
maybe
they're picking them now when the cherries are going bad, and so you're getting the finality taste. You know how you pick fruit at different times? You pick it too ripe, it's not ready. You pick it too late, it's like, oh my gosh, that is not going well. I think it's just the season, man. You got to switch up to
It was a while
pumpkin
ago.
beers now, or maybe now, maybe a corn beer. Get all corny with that stuff,
the corn beer is not as bad as you'd think.
Have you ever had one? Oh man, I think
I'm
we.
gonna look it up.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, as far as like what's right and all that, the thing is, like, Jesus didn't say everything that we can apply to this current age. There's definitely things that people will say is bad for you, but he drank alcohol. So does that mean that it's okay for us still? Or was he just trying to say, we don't even know what he was trying to say about that. We have absolutely no idea. He never really said much about that. He just mentioned wineskins, maybe Jesus drank a lot. Maybe knowing he's the son of God, it drove him to drink. It was like pretty hardcore. I don't know. I don't know if I think he probably would have, said not to push it too hard.
Ooh. Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
don't
man.
think I know anything anymore.
Well, that's good.
I think I'm more lost than I've ever been.
Well, that's not good. No, I think the fact is, like, what you said is the truth, and you said it, so you already know it inside. But you're asking me to define your truth, and I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, you're right on that one. This is an experience. This is an experience for you. This is an experience for a lot of people. For me, not much of an experience. It's just strange. It's all very strange. It's like
I
strange
just
how
hate life. I hate
Yeah.
life, man. I hate it. It's not that like I wish it over other people. I don't know. I see inherent evil taking over everything, and I see people suffering too much in so many areas. Like I see even if people have tons of money and all that, like I still see them. Some people can suffer from certain lines of depression or this and that. It's just everywhere I go, I just see people with problems.
And I think the fact is,
Everywhere,
if you were
everywhere I
if you
go.
were an angel before, or if you were in heaven before and you came here to try to help, it can be hard because now you don't have those powers. Now you have to do it a different way. And I don't know if that's the case, but if you feel that way, which a lot of people do feel that way, they feel like they have to do something good or great, figure it out and try it. It might not be the most
Yeah, but what are
serendipitous
you supposed to do?
thing.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like I said, everybody inevitably dies in the end. And beyond that, it's like, what? You know how guilty I feel if I put my money towards one person when I know another person is like somebody asks you, donate to this charity. No, no, donate to this charity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have to decide what person lives and what person dies.
It's not really
It's
for
like
you to
all,
decide. I mean, you're just doing the extra to help out. That person themselves is supposed to find a way. Like everybody's supposed to find a way. And not everybody's put in the best
well, I guess,
circumstances.
I guess,
But
I
the thing
guess the
is, like,
better
you,
option is not to just live in denial and do nothing about any of it. Blissfully pretend you can be blissfully unaware and do nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Mhm.
I don't have enough money to necessarily go and, change the world.
But it just
And
made
I
me
don't
realize,
necessarily even
like
have all the answers.
I
But I'll
think,
tell you what, like I'll never make a video where I give people cars and stuff like that. Un, uh, you know, Unless I could find, I'd rather skip right over all that and find ways where it's like, we can make better transportation for certain people who need it. Like, why is it that some people aren't able to get jobs? Let's make a business where it's like if you're unemployed, like come here. We'll figure out why. We got a team of like 7 people that are donated to, you know,
mhm.
they donate their time whenever they can
A
to
lot of
figure
the
out why it is
time,
that you're not able.
a lot of the time with that, it comes down to the person themselves. Like even for myself in some situations, like I try to do some work in some things. It's like I don't like doing that work at all, or I'm just not good at it. And I've even had to tell my kid this, like you're gonna be really good at some things and hate it, and then you're gonna be really liking something and be just god awful at it. You need to meet the middle. You need to find a way where you're able to do something you like and you're good at it. Not you don't have to be amazing. If you're, a little better at it and you kind of like it, that's great too. Or maybe a little but if those people, and that's why, like we're talking about this is experience. They're experiencing some bad things of some bad job choices in their life so they could grow from that. Maybe it helps them to be like, you know what, I did this for a long time and this is not me. I need to go and do something else. There was one point in my life that I just quit my job that I had for some years and I was pretty good at it and I liked it. But I just thought, you know what, I really want to try this other thing that I thought I liked. And then I just quit. And the boss was like, wow, that just kind of out of nowhere. I just had a feeling to do it. And it put my life into a trajectory of, I have to say, there were some there were some rough parts, but it helped me learn a lot. So I guess we want to like kind of be the angel or God and help everybody, but sometimes they need to learn their own lesson and it helps them. You know, we could have all the best intentions, but like even they say, some of the best intentions are the quickest roads to hell or whatever that saying
Well,
is, you know. So you can do the best you can, But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's always the fated path. Maybe there's a detour. Maybe something.
I don't know. I just think that when it comes down to people like Mr. Beast or that, like I said, that person who feeds all those people, I think down the line is, you know what? You shouldn't judge at all what they do. And it's reality. It's almost like you just shouldn't even matter. You know, the thing is, if they advertise and that's how they make money, why are you watching? You know, like why aren't you doing like you're wasting time watching. You know, you're the reason that they're able to make money. You know, so it's like they're only famous because you paid attention to it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't go up to you and like tell you their good deeds and make you watch it. It's like
Yeah.
it's just happened to be that was their source of income. So it's like I can, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, now I'm not saying maybe Mr. Beast has different issues. Who knows? You know, I don't necessarily trust Mr. Beast in a way, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's like that's my own personal decision. It's not mine to like, you know,
And I'm not gonna
like
go ahead. I'm not gonna go
I
ahead on
respect
the.
anybody. I respect anybody who likes him. Basically, you know.
I'm
I
not gonna
mean,
go on
sure,
the full
he's
judgmental path and say like he can't get to heaven because of what he did. But I'm gonna say that what Jesus had to say was more along the lines of what's better for you. Are you doing
But what
this?
if that is what's better for him? What if all this was
But like,
like,
what's better for you in the long run? Are you doing this for being a better person, for the creator to understand what life is about, or are you just doing it for your own personal pride and growth of that nature? Because the thing is, here's the thing. What ended up happening, and you might be like, well, some fame is bad and all that, but look at Jesus. He's immortal. Not just in spiritual realm, but like on paper and in people's minds and all that, because he didn't do it for himself. He did it for other people and for God. Mr. Beast is going to, once he passes away and he just did it for himself that way, it's all going to go to the wayside. Everybody's going to forget about him. Sometimes the actual legendary stuff that is immortal is still spiritual, but it has a deeper meaning than just, I'm going to go and give away all my money to all these people so they'll like me. That'll get you those people to like you, but only those people that'll like you that are just being a parasite on you. And then once you pass away, everything you had is forgotten. So these people that think they're making themselves immortal, they're only known while they're here. They're dead when they're gone. Jesus is still alive, not just in spirit, but in memory. It's like even more powerful than that. And the problem is, a lot of people just think about this posthumously, like, should it just be like that? No, it's not just to be posthumous. It's to really make a real, like what we try to do here. We try to make a real difference. Jesus made the real difference by what he knew, his connection with the Father. you know? And there could be more than that. There could be more to go down that road than that. But, that's what I can see out of that. And that's what I got to say, But do you want to wrap it up here? I think,
yeah,
I think we had a good conversation. I think we covered a lot of topics. It was pretty interesting. I mean, you just got to
keeping the thought we were talking about.
you just got to keep, I think the fact is we just got to keep that fun alive, that essence of knowing that we are also family up there. And I think the fact is we have hard times here because other people get confused or other people get stupid and then say stupid things or do stupid things.
Our children.
Yeah. You have a family, your purpose is your children. You don't have a family and you want to do something good, then find a way to do something good for other people, but you got to put your family first.
I do know.
Yeah. All right. Any final statements What would you like on your tombstone?
Fluid like water.
Oh, I thought you were going to say cheese and pepperoni.
Water can take any shape.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of true. Never had a water pizza, though. Or have I?
I've had to just eat an air pizza earlier today. Finishing it off right now. It's pretty tasty.
I think we'll do
Wish I
that.
had more. I wish I had more sauce though. It's just a lot of air.
All right. We'll
Please
see you next.
use more
See you next time, guys.
cheese and bread as well.
Cheese and bread.